shoes, literally iron. It brought me nostalgic memories, trying to get to lace your father's shoes on, lace them, when you go back from work, the ironing with the starch. I mean, there was no spray starch back then. So you usually had to use what we call dwade.
Dwade?
Yeah, cassava. There's cassava starch. The residue of what's used from cassava dough. Okay, so once they blend the cassava, and then it's put in sacks, and then the stones are put on the sack. So the water drains, sips out, and then there's a basin usually put under there to collect that water. That water is made to sit and then dried, and then you get starch. So it's sold in the markets, either in cubes or rectangle. So you buy that, and then you dissolve it in water. Then you put it on fire, and then you keep stirring. It gives you some adhesive kind of, and then that's what you put back in the water, the boiled one, the cooked one, after you have washed. So it gives you a starchy feel. And then when you're about to iron, you have to literally wet the cloth. So it dampen it becomes soft. And then you use a box iron, or you have a Murphy Richards or some other old iron, which we're using back in the day, and then you properly iron it. The uniform has to be spick and span, then the line has to be one. The line has to be one. You can't have two lines. That's Zuguma. It has to be one line.
So today Obrimpon is what, sergeants?
No, but sergeant. He wants to be he's a lieutenant colonel.
Lieutenant Colonel Obrimpon.
Charlie, but this career day thing, I think that, if we had it back in the day, it would have done us a lot of good.
I think
because
so.
then people would have known. Back in the day in school, what do you want to be? Doctor, lawyer, engineer, that's it.
Yeah.
Some would say, I want to be like you, teacher. But then the worldview of the children regarding what professions are available and how they can plug into those ones were literally missing back in the day.
Yeah, I agree.
Where they had a skewed mind. I mean, these days you ask a child, what do you want to become? He tells you, I want to become an astronaut.
Yeah.
People no longer say pilot, just pilot and stop there. They want to be an astronaut. Somebody wants to be an aeronautical engineer. Somebody wants to be a politician.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to be a botanist. The children know that now, and they can actually tell you. So what's a botanist? That they start telling you.
Yeah.
So I think that whoever brought the idea of a career day, has done very well.
Yeah, you can tap into your interest very early, very, very early.
In fact, my son said he wants to be a ranger.
A ranger?
Yes.
I hope it's not Power Ranger.
No. There are rangers in the army.
Okay.
Like some call it the bushmasters. They're able to navigate through any forest in the world.
Where does he get this from? Where do you think? Is it from you?
No, I think he gets it from school as well. I don't pump these. That's what I'm saying, that the children these days, will be some parents are driving their children to school. You'll be amazed at the kinds of questions that they can ask you. And things that we used to learn in primary 6, JSS 1, 2 are now being studied way down there.
That's right.
And that's where, when you don't have the textbooks for the teachers to teach with and the students to reference, it becomes a problem.
That's right.
It becomes a big problem because they always would want to read ahead. Back in the day, you waited for the teacher. The teacher comes, runs you through.
Yeah.
These days, your mother and your father have to sign the assignment. They have to sign it off that you actually did it.
Yeah.
Which means that they have to be present and to guide you through the work and to answer any questions. Now, imagine, say, mami no wabong, ana papa no wabong kakra, na oba no di quadratic equation befi. 17 minutes after 6 here on 3FM 92.7. We will cross over to Nigeria as well today for the Nigeria elections. We know it's coming up tomorrow. And then our man Komla Kluche is there with Abiyaku Intie. We will also stay in Ghana and talk some more about the situation in our home. Chireponi is boiling. And it always beats my imagination how, as a country, when it comes to peacekeeping, we are on top in terms of the world rankings. We go and solve conflict elsewhere. but our own conflict is a difficult thing for us to fix.
Yeah.
I think it's some reverse something.
We're talking about it. Was it this week where we talked about our missions all over the world where we've been successful, but for some, like you said, for some weird reason, we can't apply those skills at home.
Why? Bye. Well, the Ghanaian Times this morning reports that chieftaincy conflict at Chereponi, 4 killed soldier, 4 others injured. Women, children flee, houses set ablaze. Kokobot financial loss case. AG asks judge to refer case to the CJ. That's the Chief Justice. Also, registration of voters. Parliament adopts CI to make Ghana card sole registration document. And Ghana EU IOM partner to implement safe, orderly, regular migration projects. Dr. Dufour picks NDC nomination forms to contest presidential primaries. What's there on the back page? NHI is charged to pilot value-based care in 60 hospitals. Ministry of Health to scale up national malaria vaccine implementation program. But there are other vaccines that are not present. The ABC News this morning says AG seeks new judge for Opuni trial. And was it not the same AG that shut down the application, or if you like, the question about Justice Honyanuga? Well, he's now gone back to it. The legal ramifications, I'm not a lawyer, I cannot tell you, but again, it raises questions. Could that have disadvantaged the government or the state if Opuni and his team post the ruling went for an appeal? They could have raised questions that you had a retired judge on it there when you had other judges. So key questions come up. Upper East, Northeast residents appeal for gas refilling stations, basic necessaries of life. NPP internal elections, dangerous delay. That's an editorial by the ABC News. NPP donates 10,000 to Christian Achu's family. That's the NPP's donation. Yes, sir.
All right, I've got a few papers here as well. The Republic Press, The Finder, and the Ghanaian Observer. You have former President Mahama pictured here. NDC settles on Mahama as NPP wallows, they say, in Bawumia Alan tension. They talk about some tension between the two different factions. Manhunt for man who defiled and impregnated 2 nieces at Aguna Sredu. It's captured on page 4. We'll zoom into that. Nigeria elections 2023. Young people pin their hopes on presidential outsider. As Johnny said, we'll delve deep into the issues concerning our neighbors in Nigeria. I'm surprised government is funding the National Cathedral. Kwabena Ejapon is pictured here. He's also been vocal about his aspirations. He said he's very surprised.
As we are.
In fact, you also spoke with him. It was
yes,
last
I interviewed
year. You had
him.
a one-on-one with him.
One of the key things that I picked from that interview was the fact that he said, look, we need to first of all love our country. Once we love our country and show patriotism beyond party, we will be fine. That's the first one. Second one, he was surprised that President Akufo-Addo, the consummate politician that he is, has not been able to muster the courage to have a reshuffle. He called it nouvelle. That for 6 years, people have been in the same position and there was no change. There's no shake-up. And he was surprised at it. So I'm not surprised that he's surprised that the National Cathedral is going off, because he understands the mood of the times. But then the question is, why did he have to wait until now to speak?
Good question. The Finder newspaper. Who wins Nigeria election tomorrow? Of course, you'll see that splashed across the different front pages. Government launches project to reintegrate 70,000 out-of-school children in schools. And you've got the education minister pictured here. You have Naba Azoka. The second is the only Boku Naba. He's pictured here. The saga up north still very much ongoing. We have our lenses on that issue.
I'm looking at that case. Maybe I want to juxtapose that to what's happening in the Greater Accra region, the Gamanche issue. We seem to have all forgotten that there was before Ni Takiteku Churu, the second, who now is being recognized by the government as Gamanche. Nana Danko Akufo-Addo also recognized Ni Adamalache. In fact, there are photos of him shaking hands with Nia Damalache, and, recognizing him as a Gamanche. And you would see how the government moved in the case of the Boku and Alerigo issues, and even asked that the individual be arrested.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember the president asking or the government asking that somebody should be arrested in any other region so
that sends worrying signals.
It sends worrying signals. What is the politician's interest in all of this? And we have too many of these coming up, especially when we have a whole Ministry of Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. One would have thought that they would have been a very good liaison with the House of Chiefs, and the House of Chiefs itself has been loudly silent on this. I mean, if you as House of Chiefs have gazetted somebody as chief or as king or as paramount chief, and then suddenly another person is brought and you go ahead and gazette the person, it raises questions about you as well. You only have one leader, one captain of the ship at a time. One captain of the ship at a time. And thankfully our forebears knew, and they were wise enough to have known that even if there are 3 gates or 3 families within the same clan who are entitled to rule, it is rotational.
That's right.
So it doesn't matter if the person who is coming on is way young, like the king of a Kropong. He's a very young person. If you look around him, the Otuboja and Kwesi and the rest, they're way older than him. They've been ruling for a long time, but now they have to yield to him because chieftaincy and rulership is by blood. You have to be a consanguine, not a fictitious consanguine, a consanguine by blood. I cannot be a claimant to the Gastu. I cannot be a claimant to the Ogwastu. I cannot be, because our family is not close to there. You get the point. So once you know your place, then you go ahead. But where you have excessive political power coming to play, and which we have seen in many, and now the competition is which political regime was able to resolve which conflict. I think that in itself raises some questions.
Absolutely.
I mean, so I belong to political party A, and political party B is claiming that, okay, we were the ones able to resolve this conflict, and so Mama and fans. And then the next point, because I'm in political party A, I disagree with whatever was done. So I will not now be thinking on a traditional and cultural level. I will now induce politics into it.
That's right.
Then the whole thing goes haywire. Why do we do this to
worrying
ourselves?
signals, especially when you draw parallels with what's happened down south and up north. But lastly, the Ghanaian Observer is also here. Government committed to working with Parliament President Ekufuor, pictured here. Military bus international criminal gold syndicate. And you have the suspects pictured here also. NDC flag bearership to 4 enters race. Ekufuor launches $25.5 million GEOP project. And Mahama has solutions. Mahama has no solutions, I beg your pardon.
Who says
to
that?
Ghana's problems. They say NPP. Who exactly is saying that? I'm sure.
I think it's Richard Ahiagba, the director of communications, who's said that. And I don't know why the NPP always find. I think they give Mr. John Mahama some free publicity every now and then.
They give him a lot of currency.
Free publicity
online, especially. It's like a dedicated effort.
I don't know who is directing it, but too much free publicity.
You're right.
Free publicity. That, each time John Mahama speaks, yes, it's news. It's okay because he's a newsmaker. He's been a former president. And he wants to lead the country again on the ticket of the largest opposition party. But the ruling government, I think, has so much to worry about than just one man. If you look at the myriad of issues that have engulfed us, the ruling party has more than enough to worry about than just worry about one man.
You're right, Johnny.
And that's where the people depart from, because now you're interested in the next election. And this didn't start now. This started when we started a conversation about breaking the 8. And I remember I said that, look, breaking the 8 is not about sloganeering. because the people are disappointed in the slogans. They're looking at the slogans of one district, one factory. They're looking at the slogans of one constituency, 1 million. The slogan of free SHS. The slogan of what? I mean, I can't even remember. Plenty. Right? One child, one cup of chocolate. One chocolate. One child, one boiled egg. One child, one tablet. One teacher, one laptop. One French education for all. You remember that? Nanado said we will all be taught French. You remember French education for all. One village, one dam. You see, so the people are now looking at the slogans from a sorry state. And so if you start pushing slogans to them again in the name of breaking the 8, they're already looking at you. Should we believe you? Should we trust you? No. Because the ones you have told us before, some of which we can't even remember, you have not delivered on those ones. So we can't trust you on that. That's why I told them, like, it is the work on the ground that will make the people believe that you are able to deliver. In Akan, we say it's a if somebody says, I will dash you a piece of cloth, look at his appearance. If he's well clothed and well dressed, then you are sure, you are guaranteed. But so far, the government has not proven that they are well clothed. So when they promise the people pieces of cloth, they would look at them again. Now, instead of trying to reorient the minds of the people, redirect it and deliver on the mandate of governance, the government is more interested in the next election. And it's not just this government. The previous government before it, they are always interested in the next election. Not having the people at the middle. Yes.
Because at this time, Ghanaians are calling for more information, for example. We want clarity on so many issues. We want to know how we're going to get out of this mess. That's what the average Ghanaian is really thinking about. A very pressing issue is our pockets. So for government to divert its attention to things that we think are frivolous, playing the politics game, breaking the 8, what about what the people are really needing at this time? Now, I do see some communicators being a bit more honest and for example, even during the vetting, Dr. Adam was asked a few questions during the vetting, of course, and he made a point, and I wrote that down. He said that government has not done well with communicating to the people and communicating their initiatives and ideas. He said that plainly, and I want more members of government, more members of the ruling party to be honest about how they have handled communication during this tenure. It hasn't been great.
Well, I will leave government to deal with their own issues, because sometimes some of the communicators are incorrigible. They believe in what they believe, even to the peril of their lives. And sometimes you wonder how and why people could think along those lines and not move away into reality.
Yesterday, a caller called. He says everything is well.
Everything is well. Justice, right?
Yeah, he said everything is cool. Everything is airy.
But, I mean, these are the same people you meet on the streets and they start complaining to you. I mean, we host the politicians.
Yeah.
And we have conversations with them, very frank conversations with them. And they always will tell you if the things are not right, or, I mean, those are private conversations you cannot bring onto the public domain. But then the point is that if things were right, the president wouldn't have acknowledged that things are not going the way it's supposed to. I mean, so if everything is going right, why would the president say that he wants to turn things around?
That's right.
It means that things are not correct. If the vice president says, "Oh, very soon we'll be out of the woods," it means that we are in a fix. If the finance minister acknowledges same, so how is it that the president, vice finance minister, and other leading party members, other ministers, people in civil society, everybody keeps telling us that, Charlie, the thing and your better, sir, and then you have people.
3FM Sunrise.
Well, we're on Twitter at 3FM927. Yeah. Connect with us. Let's know what you think. so far. And a few of your comments on social media this morning, and the topic we have discussed so far. I can see a lot of you on social media this morning. Kojo Asempa Furniture says, we thank God for another weekend from Kojo Asempa Furniture Works in Idum Kumasi. Nanaya says, keep up the good work, Johnny. Nyami, oh no. Also Nyami Ncha Foka. Okay, Mati. Jidula Agbe says that Agboja Ahiagba. Sorry, it's not serious. Halidu Abdul Kadir says, Johnny, that's the problem of our leaders here in Ghana. Ni Aklama One says, good morning, Johnny. Live from Bubla. He does love his Bubla. I love the Bubla too. You know where Bubla is? Bubla. You don't know Bubla. Bubla. So the place you call Pram Pram. Aha. You know, the folks from there. That's Bubla. 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 The H is nasalized. Bubla. 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 You understand? You've been going to Pram Pram for holidays and weekends. You don't relaxation. You don't know that.
I didn't know I was going to Bubla.
Bubla. Yes. Bubla. You are in Bubla.
Noted.
You understand? You understand what I'm saying?
Bubla.
Bubla. Yeah.
I got you.
Bubla.
3FM Sunrise.
Where the money go, where the money go, episode again.
Start your day with Sunrise on 92.7 3FM.
Very good, bad boy.
3FM Sunrise.
Ghana, your beloved country is free forever.
Plenty questions, no answer. How come we dey sell the contracts? Biggie lifestyle, small paper. It make you celebrate the shuffle for counter. We get eyes but can't see. Bribery and corruption. Our leaders is take it but don't give. So make a ask, Kuma, where you there?
And live on Facebook, registration of voters, Parliament adopts CI to make Ghana card sole registration document. It's a story by Julius Yao Petesi. He's with the Ghanaian Times. It says Parliament has, by a majority decision, adopted the report of the Special Budget Committee, which backs the use of the Ghana card as a sole document for registration of voters. Though the minority was opposed to the idea, it lost the voice vote to the majority caucus as determined by the Speaker of the House, Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin. By this adoption, the Electoral Commission (EC) can now lay the CI Public Elections Registration of Voters Regulation 2023 and wait for its maturity and sitting days to become effective. This came after a heated debate between members of the opposite sides, of the House, with officials of the Electoral Commission and the National Identification Authority in attendance. Moving the motion for adoption of the report, Majority Chief Whip and MP for Nsawama Dwejiri, Frank Anodompre, urged members to support the motion for the Electoral Commission to be able to undertake registration to capture new entries onto the roll. I know that the minority side had kicked against this particular one. Now we're told that the voice votes, they lost the voice vote, so the bill will be laid before Parliament, and then we will have to debate again, and then a final decision will be taken on it. I continue to wonder how it has become difficult for us to give everybody a Ghana card.
Yeah.
I still wonder how we are not able to give everybody a Ghana card, as simple as a Ghana card. And I've asked people why they don't have Ghana card. Some have told me, look, we have paid for it and we are not getting it.
Okay.
We have queued for it and we are not getting it. You remember the back and forth with the communications minister, Esle Kufu, and Professor Tifwa,
and so
yes,
forth.
I mean, it's beyond the extensions, because I find it ridiculous when the minister was giving us extensions, but they themselves couldn't keep their deadlines.
That's right.
It was a joke for me. Now, but the back and forth between two people in the same government, one as an agency head, one as a cabinet minister, and they were doing Aponchi Tokwa in the public domain, where Kenatefwa says, we cannot give everybody a card by the said deadline. That's that you are talking, you're trumpeting. And Madame was still going on and on. Eventually, I mean, we did the U-turn and here we are. But then the whole point is that I can't understand why we can't give everybody a Ghana card. And everybody that doesn't have a Ghana card, and we're going ahead with this, we may just be disenfranchising people, just as we did to the people of Santo Kofi, Akpafu, Likpe, and Lolobi on the eve of an election.
Yeah.
Because in this country, you register everybody in districts. And then the people know that this, so if I pick your voter ID card now, I can tell which region, which district, drill it down to even which polling station.
That's right.
So then you tell me that I cannot vote in a major election like that. You have clearly violated my fundamental human rights. And if you mirror that against people not having Ghana card, not because of their failing, you can say that there are some who, were reluctant to go and register, some who are stubborn academy.
That's right.
But there are those who have also applied for it, those who have gotten it and perhaps lost it, and they want a renewal and they can't get it. Those who have not been captured at all, those who have been queuing at the NIA headquarters for God knows how long and they're not getting it. And it's all frustrating.
Very much so. And those who also had issues with wrong imputation of
the
their names,
ages.
The exercise has been rife with a lot of frustrations. I know that's one thing that the minority was standing on to say, well, you are going to disenfranchise a lot of people because of the mechanism by which you have carried out this exercise, just fraught with issues. People don't get their cards, they pay for premium service, card comes with so many issues, wrong spelling. A lot to contend with.
Well, for me, I'm looking at Parliament with another eye. Why did they, for example, opt for a voice vote when they could have done a head count?
That's right.
If indeed they wanted us to believe, or they want us to believe that they do not want this at all. Because the indication that the minority gave us was that even some members on the majority side were against the use of the Ghana card. They had press conference, they spoke to us about it. I mean, so now that we have it going to be late, and it only gives the people an indication that, okay, it will be late, and then we will go ahead and make noise again, and then eventually it will be passed because we may decide to go for a voice vote.
Yeah.
Parliament doesn't only take decisions per voice vote. They have voice vote, they have head count, they have secret ballot, they even have a division.
That's right.
So they have 4 options, if you ask me. Why do they always opt for what the speaker can easily say, the ayes have it, even when the speaker may possibly hear that DJ Phil and Helen are not as loud as maybe Johnnie Hughes on one side opposing? Because that it's the strength of the voice, the decibels, the higher the decibel, that's what the speaker will make his determination on.
Right.
So, and that's at his discretion. That I heard these people louder than I did these people. So why do they always opt for that option that leaves the decision for the speaker to take, when they could have actually decided from their constituencies on behalf of their constituents who they have told us were not in support of the usage of the Ghana card for that exercise?
And time after time, we see that with so many decisions. Censure motion, they opt for the secret balloting. Of course, the majority walk out. At any point in time, there's frustration when it comes to a big bill being passed. I'm not surprised that they opted for a voice vote at all.
Well, that is what we have here. The Ghanaian Times just came in. Daily Graphic editor bows out. Kobe Asma there. Atuafol is the MD of the Ghana Graphic Communications Group Limited, presenting an artwork to Kobe Asma of the Graphic last Friday during a send-off party organized for him. Also, on the front page, routine immunization vaccine shortage will soon be over. Ghana Health Service assures the public. This assurance, I take it with a pinch of salt, because I say if the child is due for vaccination at 6 weeks and you postpone it until 12 weeks, the Ghana Health Service needs to be explaining to us if there are any implications, because in the wisdom of those who brought about those vaccinations and immunization and the co-mininis, they knew that the child at 6 weeks was due for it.
That's right.
How much delay is lethal to the child or dangerous to the child? The Ghana Health Service is not explaining to that. And I remember I raised this on Johnny's Bite along with the national service issue. And then the next day, we're getting results for it. Johnny's Bite is at 6:50, by the way. Project to bring back dropouts, 70,000 children returning to school. That's a good initiative there, if you ask me. That 70,000 are returning to school. I hope that they go to school and get desks to sit on. BNFT says tax audit disputes won't deter foreign investors. Dr. Ali Nachab, Goldfields production down 4% in 2022. Yet we're doing gold for oil. Delays in ratifying free movement protocols threaten the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. Digital economy policy document set for adoption, NITA boss. And the Daily Guide, NPP NDC tango over EC law. Ashanti Women's Organizer endorses Dufour. One killed, several houses burned in Wenchiki chieftaincy dispute. That's a Chereponi matter. Refer police trial to CJ, according to Attorney General. Ghana as a pillar of stability.
Very interesting one here. I know we have to go for Johnny's Bite, but Dr. Dufour says he can rebuild the economy in just 2 years.
We heard that from Dr. Baumia before.
He said just 2 years he can do something.
Dr. Baumia said we'll turn around things in 18 months. These days you can't even find him to talk to you. Well, on 3news.com, IMF deals African leaders have proven incapable of managing our own affairs, according to Professor Lumumba. My government will bring back the economy if I win in 2 years. That's Dr. Dufour. Putin's war in Ukraine has driven the prices of fertilizer, food, and fuel in Ghana. U.S. ambassador says so. Parliament summons health minister over cost of vaccine shortage in Ghana. 5 allegedly killed in gun battle following renewed chieftaincy dispute in Chereponi. And, last one here. National security operative in custody for alleged engaging in galamsey. Okay, we'll take a break here. When we wake up, somebody is calling somebody a dreamer. That's what I'm saying. When we wake up, says good morning. He's calling somebody. Don't fight on the page, please. I beg you. Why did the parliament opt for voice count? Why didn't the minority demand a head count? Mr. Speaker himself knew this matter is a serious one. They are playing with our emotions. Doda Kilbert is sharing my sentiments. Joseph Mensa says NDC is against every good initiative in this country. Ghana card is the best option. And Doda comes back to say there's a lot not clear concerning Ghana card. What has taken over the MPs? Can't they reason with the suffering masses? Okay, that's what you're saying. Mirror Rain said, Mr. Bite, and we are biting in a few minutes. Much respect to you, Johnny. Keep up the good work. The name Bubla sound powerful and real. He's obviously happy. Gifty Azanti says, good morning, Johnny. Good morning to you. Ndaiwula Eric says, God bless you big time, Johnny, for your good work. Papi J Ortiz says, good morning. I'm Papi Junior, watching you from Pung Kokumpe. Okay, how's the place doing this morning? Michael Ray, I see you. Sapon Peter says, I'm watching live from Qatar. Sapon is watching from Qatar. Sorry about Qatar. Erica Nkuma, the system is hard. Erica, I agree with you. Moses Nagea says, watching live from Dunkwa. So we have a lot of people